Hello, trading has closed on February 13th, 2023. We always do our disclaimer, go over our calls, and then make some predictions. This is my trading plan for Tuesday, February 14th, 2023. Please remember my calls can be wrong. Any trade you make should be at your own risk. Also remember the consumer price index comes out before the open tomorrow. Can be a market mover, and I personally don't risk money when these important reports come out because I can't predict the response to these reports with any degree of consistency or accuracy. After Friday's close, we looked for higher prices and we got them. So there was a pattern with the early high, which is this, and tomorrow should have the early low. We also get to cross a target from last week off the list, 4107.56. This is just a review of what we said. Tomorrow has the early low. MEJT said this move up here to a new high was a false move, that price would retrace, and that's already played out. We gapped up, hit higher highs, couldn't clear the midday high, which is negative if that's maintained, and with under 5 minutes left to trade, these 5 minutes I don't count, we were under all these intraday highs. It's negative in any event, but it's particularly negative in this pattern, which tends to be a strong rally day. If we can't manage a rally at tomorrow's open, which is when time runs out, not at today's close, but tomorrow's open. If we can't gap up here strongly, I view this as a negative pattern. And we won't know if we gap up until tomorrow's open happens. Here's my long-term count. This is a high I'd like to see hold. Just focusing on wave Red C, a black 2. In my last video, I came up with a potential count, ending right around here, 4140. We came within 1.1 points of that, and that's close enough for me. We said if this held, and right now we don't know if that's going to hold, that the waves balance out just under 39.90 cash, somewhere in the mid to high 39.80s. Now, I don't know if that's going to hold or not. But so far, that plan's working out. Doesn't mean other plans won't work. Let's take a look at this last wave up. Well, I used to have B here. All I did was move it over. This is a clear 5 waves up with good fibs. And if you take the hold of this pattern, you can call this A, B, C. And if that's 100%, A is right at 78.6. I mean, these things don't just happen by accident. That's a great pattern. So if this holds, if that holds, everything is still playing out for the potential scenario I laid out over the weekend. Now, of course, the CPI report comes out tomorrow. Just because this count works doesn't mean some other count won't. And at this time, no one knows if that's going to hold. But I think we're going to know at the open if that's going to hold. Tomorrow's pattern has the early low. Doesn't mean you won't gap up first. But if that holds, everything is in place for a big drop to begin. Not a guarantee. Okay, so tomorrow's pattern has early low. It could still gap up. The CPI report comes out before tomorrow's open. Can be a market mover. I don't have a reliable way of predicting the response to it. And anyone who wants to risk money on my call should be aware that I just am not impressed with my track record of predicting responses to reports like this. I just stay away until I know what the response is. today's normally bullish pattern did not close over the midday high, and if that's maintained at tomorrow's open, it should lead to lower prices regardless of how we close. Now we gapped up, hit a higher high, but with only 5 minutes left to trade, we're under intraday highs, and that's negative as well. But if we gap and promptly overtake the high, that vitiates the whole pattern. The wave count's compatible with today's high holding, and a drop to under 39.90 doesn't mean it happens all in a day. Other counts may work, of course, and overtaking the high of day significantly would kill the idea. Bulls need to overtake today's high, and if they can't, the elements are there for a sizable drop to begin, and so tomorrow's open should be very telling, I believe. So we have resistance right here. We have a wave count compatible with a big drop starting. Perhaps the final drop down to 39.90, but we have the uncertainty of the CPI report, and of course if we gap over this, the whole idea is killed. We're not going to know that until tomorrow. Tomorrow's pattern has the early low, and that's today's call.